Okay, so I have great news. The spindle's in, and you won't believe this. There are no washers required if you use energy suspension bushings or an aftermarket bushing. No drilling, no washers. Look. There is one problem though. You can see there's no gaps here. So what you have to do to get this CRV spindle on, it's going to require fidangling, meaning you're going to have to bend this metal out maybe by 2 millimeters on each side. And how I did it, let me see if I can get an angle over here. So how I did it right here is, let me see. So I put, this is, well, I have a couple of these. I put my hammer in. This is difficult to do. I put my hammer in like that, and then I reverse. Let me get a better angle because I can't even see what I'm recording here. Okay. Alright, let me get the camera over there. Okay, so this bolt right here, I took the one that was in it, the stock one, and I threaded it this way while putting my hammer in it. So when I tighten the bolt, it spread it out evenly. You could probably use some type of opener or something. And on this side, you don't want to just use a pry bar because you're gonna bend the tab on the outside. You want the inside to bend out because the outside will go with it as you're bending the inside. So you could probably rig like some bolts at Home Depot with some type of spreader to open this up just slightly. You need about 2 millimeters on each side. Otherwise, without fidangling this, the spindle will not go on. When I first had it there, I could see why they use a washer, because when I first had it on there was a gap right here on this side. So this was pushed all the way over, this was pushed over, and there was a gap here. But when you fidangle it and you use the energy suspension bushings, once you tighten it back up, the metal just comes back together like stock on both sides. It doesn't leave any gap, because on energy suspension you get 1 millimeter on each side that actually comes out. So you got 2 millimeters. That's why I wouldn't even do this swap without the energy suspension bushings. Like, they're that important. It creates less work, and you have tighter suspension. So no washers, no drilling, everything bolts in like stock. You do have to fidangle the shit out of this, and it's a pain in the ass, but once you got it in there, you're good to go. Kind of the less work you have to do on this, the better. So yeah, this is the CRV, and once I get the bushing in, I don't even think the stock RSX, I can't really tell a difference on this part, but it's definitely going to go like that. I'm thinking, if I untighten it, I can move this, but thinking about, instead of tweaking this like most people have it all tweaked, because it's definitely going to be something like this. Instead of having this all tweaked so you're putting stress on the bushing, I'm probably going to add a washer here on one side so that it sits like this, and I don't have all the pressure on the bushing with this being tweaked. So when you work on stuff, you just have to think about it and think smarter and not work as hard. And I have watched other videos on people doing this, but I'm gonna do it my own way. And so far this has been different than everybody else has done, because they haven't used the bushings. So without washers and without drilling, it makes my life easier. And then once I get the bushing, the next step will be to figure out, and I'm probably going to put the washer back there, and then this will actually fit just like stock, instead of being, I noticed I've seen people like have this thing tweaked, but when you have it tweaked, you're putting all the pressure on the bushing right there, and the bushing's being tweaked out. And this does have an energy suspension bushing back here, but I don't want to have stress on it. I want it to be able to be tight, but not twisted. And that's why I didn't like about the CRV rear end. You had this cocked, everything was twisted. Even though this was fadangled and you're bending the metal just slightly, I didn't even heat up the metal, I just bent it. You don't need anything. This thing isn't even moving. So stock bolts, everything. And there's the update. I'll update on this part.